Good evening and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. Tonight we begin our council meeting with prayer and pledge led by Councilman Clint Bryant.
Father, we thank you for this day, Father. We thank you for bringing us here together safely. We thank you for bringing us through another Thanksgiving season, Father, in a city in which we have so much to be thankful for. Be with us tonight as we conduct the business of the city, and please guide our affairs with discretion. In your name I pray. Amen.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Milne. Here. Councilmember Tibbs. Here. Councilmember Bench. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Here. Councilmember Moore. Here. Councilmember Bryant. Here. Councilmember Balls. Here. Councilmember Humphreys. Here. Mayor Browning. Here. We have 9 members present, 0 absent.
All right, and remind the audience to refrain from speaking and other behavior out there that would interfere with the council meeting. Also, this is an excellent time, as you see council members up here frantically getting their devices turned down. So if you would turn your phone down, we would certainly appreciate that. Kirk?
Thank you, Mayor. I do have an announcement that the city's annual yard waste collection, it has been extended through the end of this week, ending Friday, December 8th. Next on our agenda, Mayor, we have a public hearing.
Okay. As soon as I find it. For our public hearing, the purpose of the public hearing is for the public to address council as a whole and for council to receive comments for consideration when actions may be taken. Speakers must limit their remarks to the subject of the hearing. Begin by stating your name. The main presenter or designated representative will be allowed 15 minutes. Other speakers will be limited to 5 minutes. Speakers may ask general questions, but shall not ask questions of individual council members, city staff, or the audience. And the public hearing is not a question and answer session. And to begin with, Mr. Miller.
Oprah, obsolete Property Rehabilitation District at 2230 Euclid Street.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Browning, Mayor Pro Tem Clark, council members, Manager Morales. I'm Tom Miller with Saginaw Future, and here tonight to speak in support of the Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act before you this evening. The Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act, or OPRA, provides for a tax incentive to encourage the redevelopment of obsolete buildings that are contaminated, blighted, or functionally obsolete. This requires a 2-step process. The first step is for council to create an OPRA district, and the second step is to consider the actual application for exemption at a future council meeting. If approved, the OPRA certificate would freeze the property tax for up to 12 years. The OPRA law was enacted to encourage individuals or businesses to rehabilitate buildings which without new investment might be destined for demolition. This project will renovate the old Cincinnati Brothers building located just off 46 where it curves around on the city's east side. Because of the city's tax cap, granting of any OPRA certificate removes the property from the ad valorem tax roll and creates a new revenue stream for the city of Saginaw. And we have some representatives here tonight that can speak specifically about the project. Thank you.
Good evening. Rick Montaigne, 5361 Seidel, Saginaw Township. I guess I was expecting you guys were going to have some questions for me to answer tonight.
No, not at this time. If you have an opening statement or tell us about what's happening there, what's going on, that would be
Okay, I
appropriate.
can do that. All right, Leonard Syrups is a Detroit-based company established in 1964. We're about a $13 million company, which has expanded into Grand Rapids a year ago, and we will be expanding into Saginaw with an opening date of somewhere around March 1st. We will provide the area with beverage products, syrups, pop syrups, CO2 for beverage grade CO2. We both manufacture and sell the syrups. We're the largest Coca-Cola distributor in Michigan. We manufacture and sell juices. For the draft bar, we do for bars we do line cleaning and install tap systems, and we also provide nitrogen generators. We sell the CO2 in everything from a small 20-pound cylinder up to large systems that sit outside the building, up to 6 tons. And we're looking at the building as a distribution center, and we expect our distribution area to be as far south as Flint, as far north as Midland and Bay City. So that's what we're doing, and we're going to make a lot of improvements on the building. We've actually already started on the building, so some of them. Okay? Done?
If you're done, we're done. So, I'm not sure if we do questions at this time. No, we do not. We do not. Not at this time. Yeah. Is there anyone else to speak, reference the obsolete property rehabilitation district at 2230 Euclid Street? Anyone else to speak, reference the obsolete property rehabilitation district establishment at 2230 Euclid Street? And final time, is there anyone here requesting to speak about the establishment of an obsolete property rehabilitation district at 2230 Euclid Street? Being none, entertain a motion to
Move to close the hearing.
move to close the hearing. And moved and supported. Is there any further discussion on the motion itself? Being none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Mayor, your next order of business is personal appearances.
And before we start personal appearances, as we begin our business, we welcome your thoughts and input. If you come to the podium, please introduce yourself and state your home address. To be helpful, let us know if you are speaking solely or on behalf of a group. All speakers will have a 3-minute limit, which is timed by the clerk, so be sure to cover your main points. Hearing from the citizens we represent is very important to us. We ask that you speak slowly and clearly so we don't miss what you have to say. And finally, since you are speaking as a representative of all citizens, we ask you to be courteous and respectful to the members of the public present, to the citizens watching SGTV, and to this council so that we can give serious consideration to your concerns. All follow-ups will be referred to city staff. Madam Clerk.
Our first speaker is Angie Miller.
Good evening. My name is Angie Miller. I'm the president of the Mid-Michigan Area Labor Council. Our office is located at 1614 Mershon here in Saginaw. You're welcome. The Mid-Michigan Area Labor Council, along with its partners and allies, are beginning a project which we hope will encourage citizens to vote in their election and also cut down on the lines at the polling locations. Beginning in December and moving forward through most of 2018, we will be going door to door to citizens' homes. We will be asking them for their name, address, and phone number, and that information will be forwarded to the city clerk. The city clerk her office will then verify that information, and if it is accurate, they will be added to the permanent absentee voter list. So this allows citizens then to be given an application for the absentee ballot automatically, so they don't have to call in to the clerk's office. Any citizen is entitled to do so. And so we will be encouraging everyone. Again, this will assist in cutting down the lines at the polling locations and encouraging our citizens to vote. Also, we want to encourage people to register to vote. We have a lot of citizens who do not vote, and your vote is your voice. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Uzina McKnight. See her, Mayor? So we will go on to remarks of council.
Okay, and council members, remind you that we have a 5-minute limit, and we begin for the second week in a row with Michael Balls.
Thank you. I really don't have a lot to say. Appreciate the weather out there. Hopefully we can save some money on the salt this year. I don't see any snow out there, so that's a good thing. I would like to commend the city and the city manager and the staff for all the road work that we had got done this fall. I think you did a fine job. We haven't had any citizens come here complaining in the last 2 or 3 months. That's a good thing. And I like to tell people when I see them and ask them about the road, I say, we're coming. Just take a little time, but we're going to get there. So I appreciate the work that the city staff is doing, and let them know that I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. We've had a very busy couple weeks. Want to make sure that everybody had a great Thanksgiving holiday. Had the opportunity to attend several events, 2 of which they did a phenomenal job. Williams Temple had a free community dinner, so I stopped by there just to speak with some of the residents of the city. I had a really great time. They put a lot of hard work into that event. Also with Savoy. The Savoy also had another very successful year, and as well as a new church on the south side, New Beginnings. It's a small church. They rustled up enough donations to make baskets for 100 families in the community, so it was great. We passed those out, and they're located over on Hess Street. Also, I just want to send along my thanks to Officer Vasquez. I had the opportunity to do a ride-along last Friday night. And during the 6.5 hours I was out there, we did have a really bad rollover accident on Vermont. And it was just great to see our police and firefighters work together so well. I mean, it was just, they were on it. I mean, we did go pretty fast to get to that accident, but it was really good to see them work together and the teamwork and collaboration that we have. When people's lives are on the line, it's really important. And that's the one thing we have to make sure that we do is keep our residents safe. That's our ultimate charge. Also, I wanted to pass on some information. I'll see if I can photocopy it because it's not very good on the website. The website article doesn't do it any justice, but we were recognized, the City of Saginaw, and Local 9899 United Steelworkers over at St. Mary's Hospital. And this publication with the United Steelworkers goes to 800,000 active and retired members. And the highlight of the article was the last whistle. So it was great that they only got some press out of it, but also the City of Saginaw. So that was really good. Also, Saginaw Public Schools will be having a holiday family fair. That will be December 16th over Arthur Eddy Academy, starting at 6 p.m. That's all I have. Okay.
Good evening. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I had the honor of serving senior citizens and students over at First Ward Community Center for Thanksgiving. I didn't make it to Williams Temple because I was serving at First Ward. It's been a quiet week, which is good. On Friday, CAC will have their poverty luncheon dinner at CAC starting at 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. And at that time, we're honoring citizens. We call them the unsung heroes of the City of Saginaw. These are people who don't ever get recognized, so we will be honoring them on Friday. some of the staff in the city of Saginaw was so gracious, they brought a table, and I'm excited about seeing them at the luncheon. That's it for me. That's it, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, welcome everybody. I do want to first of all introduce my lovely wife, Diane. Diane is here in the back. She's here hoping that the council will approve her appointment today to the Public Libraries Board. So I thought she thought it'd be nice to be here. So I want to introduce her and say hi to her and welcome her. Second, I want to mention, I know every council member and the public is waiting anxiously for the Tokushima Sister City exchange presentation. It is almost complete. The only question is, should we present it on the 18th of December or on the 8th of January? I just want to make sure we have all the council members present. So please let me know if you can't be here on the 18th, because if you can't, we may want to run it over to the 8th. So I know the mayor can't be here, and I want the mayor to see this. So that may be a good reason to hold it over. If there's anyone else who can't be here, that'd be another reason. But we may do it on the 8th then. So we are getting ready, and Mr. Manager, hopefully you'll have that on the agenda as well. And it could be anywhere from 15 minutes to a half hour, depending on any questions or, so hopefully it should be real interesting. Thank you. That's all I have.
I think I'll pass tonight. I don't really have anything.
Thanks, Mayor. Just want to extend a thanks to the city for extending the leaf pickup 1 week. At least over the weekend in my neighborhood, every other house was out there hustling, trying to get those leaves together for the last leaf pickup. So thanks for being aware of that issue and making some changes. I also wanted to thank the city for providing minutes for our boards and commissions. I would like to thank the volunteers, those who are servicing on those boards. Many of those boards, or all of those boards, are really unsung, and they get a lot of work done for the city. So thank you for the minutes, and thank you for the service for those boards and commissions. This past week, Reed Association, it's a volunteer program. Extends into many of the elementary schools in the city, but the one I'm specifically involved in is the one at Arthur Eddy, and there was a news informational about it recently this past week, and for 1 hour every 3 weeks, a volunteer can serve as a mentor to a student who's in the 3rd grade, possibly in the 4th grade, and not only teaching them or assisting them to become better readers, but also to serve as a mentor, speak a different life into some of these kids. And it's a great program. There's still students out there who want to participate, but we don't have quite enough members. So I encourage our residents to look into that program and possibly volunteer. It's an organization which I'm a director of, and it's a well-run program that does great things for the city. Ms. Miller, I just wanted to thank you and the labor unions. Considering the political climate voter awareness is a very important issue, and I was beginning to miss the presentations you were doing there on a weekly or bi-weekly basis with the different unions and the services that they offer to our residents. And that's where our economy is going, and continue to go that way, is trades. And I think your presentation was a great service to us, and I want to thank you for that. I got a few phone calls from residents from the Heritage Square neighborhood. They were asking about a notification about vacating South Harrison, and so I guess I was just curious as to if they had questions, were their only avenue was to call the number that was on the card, or is there some type of meeting that they can attend to ask the questions that they may have had about it? But I guess the bigger issue that they had, if it is an issue, was about the jail project. the new jail project. Just had some general questions about it and what it's supposed to look like and how they believe it's going to impact the neighborhood. So if we're in a meeting with the county, and if it's being asked, then maybe that's something that we can pass along as a suggestion or something to think about. But that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. In light of the Thanksgiving holiday, I took it as an opportunity to visit our firehouses and get a chance to visit with some of the people who work 24/7. And they had quite the variety of foods being prepared for their Thanksgiving dinners. It ran all the way from deep fried turkeys to venison roasts. And I just thought I would confirm to everyone the cliche is true. Just as they're about ready to eat, the fire alarm rings. They were all out on a call just when they were getting ready to set the table. So our fire department chaplain was in charge of the last little bit on the deep fried turkey coming out on time. I also attended the land bank, the Saginaw County Land Bank meeting. And the news from there is the land bank is planning some of the larger commercial demolitions on foreclosed properties. These are properties that the grants we've been receiving under the hardest hit, they are only able to be used for residential properties. So some of these blighted commercial properties, it's going to be very nice to see the land bank is concentrating on some of those. And I wanted to echo a little bit what Councilman Tibbs said. I am also getting some comments out of the Heritage Square neighborhood about possible street closures and what it's doing to traffic patterns for church attendance and other events that occur at the church kitty corner from the courthouse. So I think we're going to be hearing from people at the public hearings that that's going to generate about the possible street closure. And that is my comments for tonight.
I will pass.
We're moving along. Well, thank you. I do want to thank our speakers tonight with our, especially with reference to the Oprah that will be on the agenda. Thank you, Rick, for coming and sharing with us for that. Angie Miller, thank you very much. My only concern is when we knock on doors and ask for names and phone numbers. There must be some identification. I'm sure you're working with the city clerk to make sure that this is all properly covered so that we don't get inundated with phone calls from the public. So that's a wonderful opportunity for them people to have you go to their doors. I commend you on that, but at the same time, caution that we need to have proper ID and whatever needs to be done to make sure that we do it and they're comfortable with that. So with that, Madam Clerk, let's move on.
Now what reports from the manager?
Thank you. Just a few items this evening. We don't have any presentations, but I want to update you on a couple of things that have been going on. A few council members do attend our LPAC meetings, and we have new co-chairs now that were selected at the last LPAC meeting. Cal Talley from Saginaw Valley State University and the Saginaw County Undersheriff Phil Hart are the two new co-chairs, replacing Mr. Carl Williams and Lieutenant Marvin Jenkins from the State Police. So we're glad to have them participating. It's great to have someone from SVSU on that, attending the LPAC meetings. Somewhat related to an item on our agenda this evening, we do have our draft audit meeting tomorrow. So that's on December 5th. It's just staff, and this is our new finance director, Lori Brown's first audit, so she's gotten through that well. And I'd mention that I think they're doing a great job in fiscal services, and glad that the work they're doing. They're going back before we did have changes down there. In 2005, the audit was 6 months late. If you're aware, the audit's due to the state of Michigan within 6 months of the end of the fiscal year, so it's due by December 31st each year. It was in the 2005 audit was submitted to the state of Michigan June 16th, 2006, and the 2004 audit was submitted July 13th, 2005. With those late audit submissions also accompanied additional fees and consulting fees, probably in the range of $50,000 to $60,000. So I think since that time, Fiscal Services has been doing a great job, so I wanted to point that out. And we can always make changes, and we probably will do more later, but they've been doing a great job this year and since Lori's taken over. Another fiscal issue, the state of Michigan, you may have seen, is looking at OPEB reform proposals. They introduced 16 bills. I forwarded you a letter or an email from the MML. They're following it, and I will be in Lansing this week too to meet with some of our legislators that have questions about OPEB. Potentially this could have a significant impact on cities that do have large outstanding OPEB or pension issues. So I think it's important that we have a voice there. So as I get more information, I'll send that to you. Looks like they're trying to do something fairly quickly, but hopefully they'll continue to take input from the MML and MERS and local units. Two items that were requested by council previously: the 911 presentation that Councilwoman Moore requested. We made contact with the Executive Director of 911, Randy Pfau, and we should have that after the first of the year too. He'd like to present after. He has some more information on a couple items, so possibly could go as late as February. And we did send a letter response regarding the Hill House that Councilman Milne requested at the last meeting, and you should have received a copy of that by email as well. The State of the City meeting, we've been notified, is February 1st, so I know the mayor will begin to get ready for that, and make sure it's on your calendars if you're available to attend. The DDA has been making good use of the millage that they've approved and council subsequently approved. The estimated revenue from the millage is about $120,000, and they also have a capture amount of about $14,000. The DDA has been paying for extra police patrols in the district. They've granted, I think, about 3 facade grants so far, and they still have funds to allocate there, so they're taking applications. They purchased trash cans to be placed throughout the district, and at the last meeting, we approved a TIF study to reorganize the TIFs to strategically capture more taxes for the DDA to utilize, and also approved a request from the Riverfront Saginaw Commission for wayfinding type signs. So they are putting that money to good use, and actually it looks like they're probably going to be under budget this year when we get done, so they'll be able to add to their fund balance as well. Councilman Balls, I know Phil Carwatt will pass along your thanks to the streets and engineering staff. They've been very busy this year. I think this year they've probably done more streets work in-house than they have in the past, and it's a lot of work for the city engineer and the streets crew, but I think they've developed a plan and they'll continue to do that. Councilman Tibbs, the city will work with the county on building permits, I believe, for the jail. We don't really have input on how they structure the building, but if we do have meetings with them and council has concerns or questions, we'll be sure to relay those. And other than that, I think it's important for citizens to know that they are citizens of the county as well, so they can also go to the County Board of Commissioners to express their concerns about any county jail buildings. And finally, Councilman Milne would also thank the county brownfield for some of those demolitions. I believe those are brownfield loans from the county brownfield authority that they are loaning to the land bank to do those demolitions. So it's another example of the county-wide boards working together. So with that, that concludes the management update.
Okay, questions for the manager on the update? Any questions on the update? Okay, Madam Clerk.
Time to mention that the police department selected Manager Tim Morales as the civilian employee of the month, this month.
Very nice. Well, very nice. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, we are now at the consent agenda.
Available at City Hall and on citywide website, and also SGTV Channel 191. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, leaving room for exceptions. Been moved and supported. Are there any exceptions? Are there any councilman or Mayor Pro Tem? Do you have an exception?
Number 12.
Number 12. Any other exceptions? Any other exceptions? Being none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Madam Clerk?
Item 12, adopt the resolution with the Michigan Department of Transportation for the decertification vacation of South Fayette Street between Mackinac Street and Gratiot Avenue.
Thank you. I accepted this primarily because even, I know that we've already approved the vacation of the street, and that it is what happens here, as far as I'm concerned, is pro forma, but I have to vote no to be consistent with my original vote, where I think we acted way too prematurely in deciding this vacation without taking into consideration the currently existing proposal for vacation of Harrison Street. So with that, for the purpose of moving forward, I'll move the adoption, but I am saying I'm voting against it.
Been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Balls. Councilmember Humphreys. Councilmember Milne. Councilmember Tibbs. Councilmember Bench. Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Councilmember Moore. Councilmember Bryant. Mayor Browning. We have 8 yes votes and 1 no. Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Mayor, that takes us to reports from boards, commissions, and committees, and appointment of board and commission members.
And city council members, is there any boards you attend that you would like to share information on at this time, boards and commissions, other than the approved minutes that were sent out? Okay, being none, we have some appointments tonight, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Did you want one motion for 1 through 4, or do you want them separate?
Items 1 through 4.
Move adoption of 1 through 4 with leaving room for exceptions.
Been moved.
Oh, okay. Doesn't matter, she can have it.
Been moved and supported. Are there any exceptions? Any exceptions? Any exceptions? Being none, all in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Council of the mayoral appointment of Dawn Hinton to the Saginaw Housing Commission for a term ending September 30th, 2019.
One is abolishment of Brownfield Plan Project Number 5, U.S. Graphite Incorporated, located at 1620 East Holland Avenue.
Need a motion to adopt. Is there any further discussion on it? The abolishment of the Brownfield project? I need to, yep. Okay.
They didn't ask for, they can't get another one, can they? No. Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Our second resolution is establishment of an obsolete property rehabilitation district at 2230 Euclid Street.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor signify, oh, go ahead.
This one we're laying over, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this laid over or just adopted? Okay. Tonight, okay. Okay, so we're creating the district if it's an affirmative vote. Okay. Question? I don't know where the chicken is.
Oh, the chicken's gone? Well, it might have worked down in Heritage, or at the Neon Park.
Any other discussion on the,
We asked the Cincinnati brothers be contacted to maybe dedicate it to the park?
I don't know. No, that's, let's talk, let's stick to the motion. Okay, any further discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Our fourth resolution is approve the City of Saginaw annual apportionment of $4,000 for the Saginaw Area Stormwater Authority annual budget for fiscal year 2018.
Been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Go ahead, Councilman Mill.
Just wanted to ask if this is something we budgeted already.
Any other discussion? Signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No, motion carried.
Our fourth resolution, appointment of Josh Hoffman as trustee and Beth London as alternate trustee to the Saginaw Area Stormwater Authority Board of Trustees.
Been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Well, if it's an employee, they'd have to turn it in. The meetings are held during normal working hours. Okay, any other discussion?
Stipend that city employees get for boards, they turn into the city.
Any other discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Mayor, we are now at motions of miscellaneous business.
And I am to ask if there's any other business, council members, to come before us. Any other business? Being none, need a motion to adjourn? Been moved and supported. All in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, we're done.